Hi. At various stages of our life, as we personify different impulses, life in us assumes different forms, making us different in some sense, and each phase leaves a mark on the ones that follow it. For instance, there is a wide gulf between childhood and adolescence. The ideas that we held dear in childhood we are not even prepared to own as we grow older. Change, after all, is the essence of our existence and consciousness, and we can't persist with many of the ideas once held by our previous selves. So, every expression that's accurate and sincere is true in relation to the self that it reflects. Only the expression emanating from the depth of our being can bring out the vital attributes of ourself. As the English theologian Thomas Traherne explained, enjoyment of the external world is not possible until we feel it as an integral part of our being. We perceive the externality of objects because the self in us has not yet become one with nature. Montaigne says for each of his essays, it is myself that I portray. So this makes all higher art an autobiography. It is, and no wonder that profound artistic impulse creates an expression that can be appreciated universally, whereas shallow art remains the domain of mere specialists or pretenders. The reason great art can be enjoyed by each one of us is because its delivery transcends the subjective limitations of the artist's personality. The first step in achieving objectivity is complete absorption in the object of our attention. As Ali ibn Abi Talib explained, the more we descend deep into ourselves, the more we are in consonance with nature. The process of internalization leads to the comprehension of nature's mysteries, and the contemplation of external objects helps in internal growth. A stage can then come when we, like Albert Einstein, appear as external to ourselves, reaching a state where we are both conscious and aware of being conscious. Alfred Lord Tennyson claims in his poem Flower in the Crannied Wall, the comprehension of a small flower can lead us to understand God and human. The universal everywhere is reflected in the particular, as the mystics and Sufis also say. So Tennyson says, flower in the crannied wall, I pluck you out of the crannies, I hold you here, root and all, in my hand. Little flower, if I could understand you, what you are, root and all in all, I should know what God and man is. So all creative activity brings about a union of the object and subject, a marriage between human and nature. Every cognition is creation. In our self does nature fulfill itself. Creative art shows that nature has been provided with a mirror in our heart in which it appears even more beautiful. We recreate the data provided by senses and perception in our own image and transform it through our imagination. A great poet like Hafiz transforms the familiar world, heightening the beauty that helps us to perceive more of the significance of creation. Conversely, as Oscar Wilde quipped, nature is always imitating art, perpetually creating things and humans in art's image. For those who seek to travel on the path of truth, the physical is the symbol of the mystical. It serves as a bridge between here and beyond. When people shut themselves within the limits of their own organism, they rob themselves of the capacity to pass beyond their subjective limitations, to enter into and enjoy that which is not themselves. They then become mere animals, conscious only of the impulses that things stir in them. Artists exploit the mediums of expression, color, words, sound, body, to bring out their deepest insight in the realm of manifestation. Art is the expression of the capacity to enter into the existence of the other and to be absorbed in it. When artists lose themselves in the reality of that which they depict, they face themselves, but their work becomes a spontaneous expression of themselves. This spontaneity is objective in terms of the reality of the object that absorbs them. This helps us understand what Jesus meant when he said, "He that saveth his life shall lose it, and he that loseth his life shall keep it unto life eternal." So when we block the avenues of outpouring of self, we withdraw from the reality of world. We reduce ourselves to mere instincts, habits, and inclinations and surrender our freedom and creative spontaneity. Artists don't act by the compulsion of rules but by the nature of the reality which they capture. They feel themselves to be tools in the service of the creative impulse in them. Look, our existence can be compared to an iceberg. Only a fraction is perceptible to our consciousness, and this has been shown by the recent advancement in brain sciences and consciousness. The rest is hidden in a thick, hazy blanket of instinctive life. Hence, the highest attainment of which any one of us is capable is to become aware, is to awaken the sleeping being we are harboring within. This journey of awareness starts with a shift in emphasis from lower to higher being, as if to lift the iceberg to detach itself from its moorings. There's no set prescription to achieving self-awareness, there isn't. You have to find your way, define your own journey. In the past, people looked up to spiritual guides to progress on this path. With the liberation of the intellect in the modern world, with the information we have available and the research on brain and neurosciences, we can now rely more on our own inner resources. The age of prophets and messiahs has passed. The higher human intellect places the responsibility on individuals to change the level of our own life and give its energy a direction and a meaning. We can deepen our consciousness today by integrating life's diverse impulses under the sovereignty of ourself. By living consciously, we can acquire the ability to see more deeply into things than we can by inhabiting a superficial layer of consciousness. Much as it is necessary to open our eyes to see the light, unless there is light, the opening of the eyes will achieve nothing. The two factors must converge on a single focus in order to discover its truth: opening of eyes, presence of light. So in short, the journey of human life is a journey of change. Our self keeps changing whether or not we consciously try to influence this change. Awareness is what transforms this constant change into progress. It's not just a chattering luxury for those blessed with personal security and idle time. It requires constant focus, effort, and sacrifice. This reminds me of a great English poet, Samuel Taylor Coleridge, and I'll end by quoting him, who in his piece Dejection states this truth eloquently. "O lady, we receive but what we give, and in our life alone does nature live. Ours is her wedding garment, ours her shroud, and would we aught behold of higher worth than that inanimate cold world allowed to the poor, loveless, ever anxious crowd? Ah, from the soul itself must issue forth a light, a glory, a fair, luminous cloud, enveloping the earth, and from the soul itself must there be sent a sweet and potent voice of its own birth, of all sweet sounds, the life and element." Thank you. I wish you to live consciously and to continue your journey of awareness. See you again.